Suburbanization is when there is a population shift from urban areas to rural or suburban areas. Suburbanization occurs when urban areas are overpopulated. There is an increase in daily standard of living. There is a lack of residential areas to provide people with places to live. There is availability of land in suburban areas. Traffic congestion due to increased commuting. Air pollution due to increased use of cars. Urban sprawl which threaten animals and plants as well as destroy farmland. High concentration of low-income residents meaning less diverse socio-economic groups in inner city. Deindustrialization in core areas which raise unemployment rates. And lastly, arrival of migrants to fill in void, take on low-pay sector work, and fuel economic growth.
Counter-urbanization is when people move from urban areas to more rural settlements. This happens when people do not enjoy living in big cities, have access to transportation, such as public buses and private cars. Retired people who no longer need to go to work every day. Long-distance commuters who can afford commuting costs and are prepared for long journeys. Those who are working for firms in rural areas. Those who are working in home using ICT. Increased gains for rural services due to more demand. Helps places like petrol stations and pubs. Increased sale prices for housing due to more demand, which helps landowners and house sellers. More choices for jobs as people can find other work instead of being forced into traditional farm laboring. Traffic congestion due to increased commuting. Air pollution due to increased use of cars. Social tension between farmers and locals due to different beliefs or priorities. Increased costs for housing due to many more demand, but locals may no longer be able to afford. An example of counter-urbanization is in Blackburn and Whalley. Blackburn is a town in England and Whalley is a village. People leave Blackburn to Whalley because they dislike the current conditions in Blackburn and are more attracted to the village, which has some old shops, pubs, residential property, and transportation links.
In today's quickly developing society, suburbanization brings many changes to traditional land use models. Unlike the typical 7 models that we have previously learned in class, suburbanization draws changes to the structure and allocation of many groups and cohorts. Because suburbanization shifts people to rural areas and is very much a case of counter-urbanization, there is a transfer of concentration from the core to peripheral regions. Since there are more people in these outlying areas, places like malls begin popping up around rural fringe sections. There is also an increase in transportation efforts that allows people to commute into the core when needed. This soon establishes into a pattern that accounts urban segregation. For example, in HICs where this often occurs, it starts to define the outer region as the rain for the rich, because these people can afford the gas and transportation needed to live far away from the CBD, and they can purchase chunks of land to construct large housing with gardens. Out in these regions, they also avoid the overwhelming air and noise pollution. So, land furthest out is now more desirable. An example of this can be shown by the 23 Avenue Fonterelle Ussel in Belgium. And this was mentioned previously as an activity in our class, and this area lies on the outermost zone in the south direction of the nation. As we can see in the street maps, it would be ranked quite high on the environmental quality survey, and it obviously belongs to families with thick wallets, and therefore they get to enjoy a better lifestyle, or at least one that is more comfortable for them.
Ethnic minorities are often segregated within urban cities by being clustered in the same area. For example, there are sink estates for poor immigrants, wats for Afro-Americans, and barrios for Mexicans. These are often far away from wealthy and private perimeters, such as those with their own services and 24/7 security. A lot of the time, ethnic minorities face addressism, which is discrimination due to address. which stems from patterns developed based on race and ethnicities and closely associated with wealth, status, and power. We can also look at closer examples like the Chinese town in Ho Chi Minh City's District 5.